Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm so happy to have you. For my previous and subscribers, welcome back to the channel. So for today's video in particular, we're going to be talking about and discussing what is the plausibility and the possibilities, or what if the shutdown just becomes a permanent thing? What if the Republicans in both the House and the Senate decide not to open up the government? That is a very strong, real plausibility, especially the fact that it could also be an inside plot by Project 2025, the Heritage Foundation, the Donald Trump administration, because remember, this gives the executive branch full power when the legislative branch is not in session, which means that they have the capability to do whatever he or she desires without any sort of pushback or any sort of formation to push back against the president. So it's, in essence, this would be like a lack of checks and balance in terms of power structure. This video is being recorded on Friday, October the 24th at 1:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This video is being recorded on that specific day, and this video is just for entertainment, educational purposes only as well. So this video is going to be very short, very brief. I do have a very limited time window. But if you want to help out and support the channel, you can do so by liking, commenting, subscribing, hitting the bell icon, engaging with the content. Sharing this video with others really helps boost the algorithm here on this YouTube channel. And also, if you want to stay in a loop and be notified when I do post and upload, go into the comment section below in my description and follow my Blue Sky account and my Facebook group, and I personally notify you when I do post and upload next. And if you are also interested in my newest channel, which is the cooking channel, I just uploaded today a brand new cooking video on how to make a strawberry shortcake ice cream. So if that is something that interests you, let me know in the comment section below, and I will personally provide you a link to that YouTube channel, but also I will also include it as well into the channel link in case you want to just go ahead and not wait for me to send you a link. You just go ahead and just follow, or better yet, watch the video. Anyway, let's go ahead. Let's begin. I hate long intros, so do you. Let's move on. Okay, so Spirits and Angels, I want to know, what is the likelihood chance of a shutdown becoming permanent, or more likely it's not going to be reopened? What is the likelihood chance as of now, with the current energies currently in play, what is the current plausibility and possibility of the government remaining shut down in the United States? Okay, so here's what I'm getting. The first thing I'm getting is that there is no rule or guideline in the Constitution or the Bill of Rights that state how or when the government should be reopened, regardless if they couldn't come to a budget agreement. This is saying here that there is no guideline, there is no rule, which means that this can go on indefinitely if they choose to do so. We have the Seven of Cups. The Seven of Cups right now is indicating the path of the United States, but also the path that we're on. Whatever is the most suitable to the path for the United States in terms of its historical significance and its ideology in which it's moving towards, that is going to play a major role in whether or not the United States government reopens again. This is the Seven of Cups. This is telling me, because it's in consideration, it's telling me that we are not any closer to reopening the government at this time. We do also have here as well, we have the High Priestess in reverse, which is indicated as the Democrats, but also indicates to me as the U.S. Constitution, the rule of law. It is reversed, which tells me that there is no statute or no guideline in the U.S. Constitution that outlines how or when the government should be reopened despite government shutdown. There is no limit. And because of this lack of limitation, I do see that there's a plausibility here, because there is consideration of prolonging the shutdown. And the average shutdown was during Donald Trump's first term between 2017 to 2018, in December into January of 2017. That was the last time that we had a shutdown, particularly a very long shutdown. This shutdown is the second longest behind his first one. I think he planned to break that record, if you will. And here you have it, the Knight of Cups. There is a proposal, and the proposal is being brought somewhere. So there's a proposal, an idea, a concept, and here you have it, the Two of Wands reversed. Now this means internationally, when the card is upright, means it looks like somebody looking into diplomacy, looking outward. This is inside, this is reversed. So there's a proposal inward that's coming. The question is this proposal to keep the government open, or is this a proposal to keep the government shut down? That is a question that we are going to have determined over the next couple of weeks. So Spirit Angels tell me, based on the likelihood path, what is the likeliest outcome? So we have the Five of Cups, which means 3 in the past. So the past 3 government shutdown, we are going to be entering into a reopening phase. But at this point, it does feel like we are going to be staying closed for right now, but we are going to reopen sometime in the future, but then we're going to close again soon after that one. We do have here as well, we have the three pentacle, which indicates empty resolution. There will be proposals brought to the floor, or there will be attempt to reopen the government. But here you have it, the cup being tanked downward, which tells me that it doesn't go anywhere. There is no future in terms of reopening the government. And here you have it, the four of wands here, which means reverse, which is the capital upside down, which makes a lot of sense, especially if we're talking about a government shutdown. However, this does concern me because there is a proposal, and because this proposal is being brought to the floor, I think this proposal is to keep the government shut down. I think that's what it really comes down to. So we have the Queen of Cups. This is the Democrats. The Democrats are eyeing something that is closed, something that is wanting to say become open. This is the Democrats here. This has always been the card that represents the Democrats. The Democrats are looking at something. They want to expose something that's hidden. We all know what that is. That's the Epstein file. And I told you before during the government shutdown, if we had a government shutdown, it's going to be happening if it is in the best interest of the Republican Party and Donald Trump entirely. And I'll put the link to those shutdown videos in the description and at the end of today's video. That's if it's in the benefit of the Republicans. If the government didn't shut down, then staying open would be more beneficial for the Republican Party. But in this instance, it found that shutting the government down was very beneficial for the Republican Party, which in this case, it does seem to be showing the sign that it is a little bit more beneficial than as if they just stayed open. So now that we understand what is going on, I want to ask the cards, is the government going to be open within the next 2 weeks? Is the government, the United States government, on track to reopen in 2 weeks from now? Is the government going to reopen in 2 weeks? So this card came out again. This tells me no. This is the Four of Wands reverse. Again, this is energy here. We're not really getting the definitive answer. We're getting energy. Where are we currently heading with the current energies in motion? No. Now, so we're going to be closed for another 2 weeks. We have the Four of Wands. The Four of Wands is the government upside down. We have betrayal, which means the Three of Swords. The Three of Swords would be upright if this was intended by the Democrats. If the Democrats actually shut down the government, this card would be upright, which means a betrayal to the Republican administration. This is reverse, indicating that this was not an intention by the Democrats. It was an intention purposely done by the Republican Party and Donald Trump administration. Again, this video is just for entertainment, educational purposes only as well. But that's what that's coming up at. With the reverse Four of Wands being the capital in reverse, we have the Hanged Man. And the Hanged Man is literally being hung upside down, dangling. You don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, but you're just dangling. And that is what the Hanged Man is reverse is indicating. It's indicating there's something dangling over somebody's head. And so the threat of that dangle is going to prevent the government from reopening. We do also have here an internal proposition. So something Congress, the Senate is looking within right now. They're not looking outward. They're not looking at the problem that's being caused around them being closed down. They're not looking at that. They're looking at the optics. And the optics for them is from within, not from without. So whatever's in that closed doors, whatever they're discussing behind the scenes, it's not something that people are aware of publicly, and they don't care about the side effect of the government shutdown. So 2 weeks, looks still shut down. In 4 weeks from now, is the government still going to remain shut down? In a month from now, will the government remain shut down with the current energies at play? Will the government remain shut down? We have funding. We have the Knight of Pentacles, followed by the Knight of Swords. We have here opposition, looking at the destruction. And here you have the Six of Wands here. This does tell me there is some sort of economic turmoil around the month of December, which tells me that there are some major problems heading into the week of Thanksgiving, into early December, which is when we're going to start to see economic trouble, economic hardship and it's going to start hurting the Republican Party because remember, they are the ones in power, not the Democrats. But I would not be surprised if the Republicans use this as a narrative or a talking point that the Democrats are purposely tanking the economy because they're keeping the government closed. I would not be surprised if that's a talking point that they're going to insinuate. We do have here as well, we have the 9 of Pentacles, means funding, proposition. Something needs to be funded because something major happened around the month, at the end of November, which is around Thanksgiving week, into early December, something major starts to happen. And we have the Knight of Swords, which means it's very emergency. Possibly it could be emergency funding, maybe not necessarily the government reopened, but there could be a bill that's brought to the floor for emergency funding. Something maybe like to reopen the government temporarily or to extend the fiscal date, whatever it is. There's something that's an emergency, something that needs to happen immediately. Otherwise, catastrophe, disaster starts to follow. Because we have that Knight of Swords, means quick pace, moving very quickly. And underneath this 9 of Pentacles, even though it indicates funding, we oversee destruction. Something is overseeing a destruction of something. It's the 3 of Wands. It could be indicating the economy, the stock market. It can indicate an actual major natural disaster. Something is happening that requires a government that is currently shut down at this time to be forced to reopen temporarily to provide an allocation of money or resources, but it doesn't indicate whether or not the government is actually going to be fully functioning again. It does not indicate that, but it does indicate that it's some internal lining problem where an emergency release funding is needed or required. We do have here as well, we do have the 6 of Wands reverse, which means hardship. This is not a very positive outcome. This is headed in the same direction as the Knight of Swords, which means something is very negative that is going to happen around Thanksgiving week into early December that's going to be playing a major role. Now, with that said, Spirit, we have here again, they're still under consideration, which tells me the talking of the government shutdown and stuff like that is still underway, which tells me they still haven't made a decision whether or not the government's going to reopen. Right, underneath that we have that card here, Rebirth, a new change. This is what this is indicating. It's indicating fear. It's indicating a lack and inability to connect coercively, to understand a path or direction or a narrative. That's what this is indicating. It's indicating it could be a temporary reopen, not a permanent one where they are open for the duration of the term. The top of the deck here is we have the Judgment card in reverse. And the Judgment card in reverse means falsehood. I'm getting a lack of proper information, lack of awareness to the public. So the public is not aware of something that the people in the house are aware of. And when I say the house, it could be literal in the sense of the House of Representatives or the White House itself. We have the 4 of Swords reversed. This is not going to be the end of the political career or the political dynasty of the Republican Party. I don't see this being a big issue for the Republicans go into the midterm, particularly because whatever this event that's happening, it doesn't seem to have any side effects on the midterm. Particularly because the Republicans, because it's so early on in the year, people won't really remember it or really care about it or really weigh it when it comes to the election ballot. Americans are very bad when it comes to remembering, especially history. That's why a politician like Donald Trump can get away with so many things, but people just genuinely don't care. Spirits and angels tell me, is there a very strong plausibility based on the cards already that the government shutdown can last months? Is that correct? We have here is the 9 of Swords here. It's very possible the government shutdown can actually last months instead of days. Yeah. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is 9. This is in the past tense. In the future tense, we have a future administration, which means that in the future, it could last up to 9 weeks to 9 months. Either way, it's going to be a record-breaking hold. We have the Moon card, which means revelation, reveal. It's going to be reopened eventually, but in time. And this is going to be under an impeachment or a proposal, something that forces the government to be reopened permanently again. But it does feel like it's going to be a very long while before the government does open. And so I'm going to go on my phone and find out exactly when the government actually shut down. And we're going to take 9 weeks beyond that and see where we are. Okay, when did the government Shutdown. Okay, so it's day 24. Oh, so the government shut down actually on October 1st. Okay, so October 1st, 9 weeks from there. So let's see. So actually, it's going to be the week of December. So between December 1st to December 7th is a very plausibility or a window when the country could be reopened. If it does not open between then, within the first week of December, which kind of seemed to be on par with what we just read on, that's 9 weeks from October 1st. Then we're going to end up at 9 months afterwards. So let's do 9 months. October to November, November to December, December to January, January to February, February to March, March to April, April to May, May to June, June to July. July is a very major problem, especially going into the astrology aspect of the United States' birth chart in July. 2026 is going to be a very problematic year. The fact that there's a very strong plausibility that the government shutdown could last up until July 2026 is problematic in itself. It is a very strong plausibility, but it doesn't seem like that's the likeliest one. The likeliest one that I will probably put would be the reopening of the U.S. government around the first week of December seems to be the most likely. But if somehow, for some reason, we don't get to a conclusion or an opportunity to reopen because of whatever this emergency is, then I do see it being a lot longer than just 2 to 3 months. It could be even 4 months. So that's what I'm getting in the cards. Is there anything else, Spirit? Okay. That's it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of today's video. And I cannot wait to see what you guys have to say and what you have to hear. What you want to say and what you want me to hear specifically. And if you have any video suggestions, feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I am always looking for video suggestions. I know some of you guys actually asked about Mark Meadow. I will be doing a video on him very soon. I do know Dorian. I hope your mother's doing very well with Alzheimer's. Wishing you a lot of love and a lot of luck. And I will see you guys all soon. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Love you.